Good morning. We are in Genesis 30, verse 17. Okay. Genesis 30, verse 17, y'all. By the way, we're on YouTube at Preach Facts. Now, and God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the fifth son. Okay. And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob the sixth son. Okay. And Leah said, God hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. Okay, guys, now. And afterwards, verse 21, and afterwards she bare a daughter and called her name Dinah. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. Okay. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. Okay. And she called his name Joseph, and said, the Lord said, now, God, what I'm getting out of this is that, well, I don't want to say that, but yeah. And she called his name. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. Now, just a quick backup on what's going on, y'all. What happened prior to this was that Rachel and Leah were both conceiving and not conceiving. Wombs were open, wombs were closed. And right prior to this, but what we're seeing happening here is the tribes of Israel are being born through their forefathers. Jacob gets turned into Israel. That's his name. He's the son of Isaac. Okay, so we're coming down. We're trickling down here. And yeah, so, and what had just happened was, at the time, Isaac had been sleeping with Rachel. Okay, and Leah her son had brought her some mandrakes, which we believe, pretty sure, is a aphrodisiac. Mandrakes was a flower, had some value. It was either an aphrodisiac or not, but nevertheless, her son had brought her some mandrakes, and Rachel said, hey, can I have some of those mandrakes? And Leah said, no, you already got my husband. In other words, it's just this natural enmity. You know, they're always jostling for his attention or to be primary, which is an illustration of just natural loyalty and how you can't serve two masters. That's what I take away from this chapter, is that you can't serve two masters. There's always going to be, or at least God's not having it. So yeah, for leading up to this, that's what happened. And so she said, yeah. She said, I'll send my husband to you. I'll send him back to you. Just let me get some of the mandrakes. So basically, he got pimped out and stuff. And she said, no. She said, she said, I'll send my husband to you. It's her husband, too. He loved Rachel more, because that's who she was more fair, tendered, or whatever. I guess now. So that's what happened there. And Leah said, hey, I have hired thee. You're coming to me tonight. So yeah, without doing too much recapping, that's where we're at. And then she opened her wombs again. I'm trying to remember why. I think that why they closed the wombs were opened and closed many times throughout it, or at least once each. But yeah, Reuben went into the days of wheat and found man. But we're gonna keep pushing on, and we'll try to do a recap after that if we have time. We're definitely gonna do a recap because we don't miss anything here. Okay, so and God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. If you want to catch up, guys, I encourage y'all to go to Genesis 30 and just catch up to where I'm at. And Leah said, God hath endued me with a good dowry, and now will my husband dwell with a good dowry. This is a Christ picture. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons, and she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. Okay. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. So they're pretty much acknowledging, that's important because they're acknowledging that when stuff happens, or at least that's what they're acknowledging, that it's God doing this. Oh, I messed up sort of down somewhere on the line. God has taken away my reproach. That's why my womb was closed. So they're always placing it on themselves that God judged them, and that's why their wombs were closed. So take or leave it, man. That's what they're putting the blame on God, and they're saying it's not just a happenstance. This is happening because look. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. That's how we should look at things, man. I mean, that isn't always the case. I'm just saying that's what they said. Something to think about, man. They're automatically putting the blame on themselves that something stopped that they would have wanted. And she called his name Joseph, and said, the Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away, that I may go into mine own place, and give to my country. Into my country. Verse 26, 30. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go. For thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry. For I have learned my experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. It's a Christ picture, y'all. And a Gentile picture. You know. So Laban knows he'd never be where he was without the Christ, and that's like us. We know that we're blessed because of the Christ. That's where it all comes from. So he's acknowledging, hey, I'm blessed for thy sake. Don't go. Please hang out for a while. Okay, so that's an image that he's acknowledging. That he would never be where he is without Joseph. And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. He's basically saying, stay, I'll pay you whatever you want. And he said unto him, thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. Okay. For it was little which thou hadst before I came, and how it is now increased into a multitude. And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for thine own house also? So And he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. And I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness come for my hire before thy face, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. Okay. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he goats that were striped, spotted, ring straked and spotted, and all the she goats that were speckled and spotted, and everyone. Now, guys, this is a picture of the saved ones and the not saved ones. To me, we're not just out here. We're not just one saved, always saved. We're either meeting the criteria or we're not. That's what we're getting from this. I'm getting from this. He's literally going and saying, "Oh, I can identify this. I can identify that. I can identify this," because of the stipulations put on. We said streaked and spotted. Period. Yeah, so that sounds like a Satan God picture almost too, because Satan's going after. Laban is keeping the unblemished ones. Everything else, poop, 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 gotta go, type deal. So yeah, this is a classic picture, man. Meeting the criteria, not making the cut. That's what we're going on here. We're not making the cut. They're drafting. We're not making the cut. Period. It's a reverse drafting. Looking like it's a reverse picture. Reverse parallel. Okay. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all. Okay. So shall be my righteousness. Answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. Let me check up here. 30:33. Getting a little hairy right there. 30:33. Okay. So my honesty will answer for me later when you come to look into my wages with you. Everyone that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and black among lambs, if found with me, shall be counted stolen. Laban said, Good, let it be as you have said. But that day Laban removed the male goats that were striped. Okay. Wow. Okay. So there's a lot going on here. Let's see. Let's see if we can follow the full implication of what's going on, so I can really tell you what's happening. Okay. 33. I'm probably just going to read this through and then we'll talk about it. Okay. And he removed the goats that were ring-straked and spotted, and all the goats. And Laban said, Behold, it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he goats that were ring-straked and spotted, and all the she goats that were speckled. 35. Good. Laban said, Let it be as you have said. But that day, 35. But that day Laban removed male goats that were striped and spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled and spotted, every one that had white on it, and every lamb that was black, and put them in the charge of his sons. And he set a distance of 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob. and Jacob pastured the rest of Laban's flock. Then Jacob took fresh sticks of poplar and almond and plane trees, exposing the white of the sticks. And he set the sticks that he had peeled in front of the flocks in the troughs, that is, the watering places where the flocks came to drink. Okay. This looks like the Christ, man, for some reason. Like, okay, we're out here. The word comes out. Boom. Bible. The Spirit comes out. We're watering. We're getting it. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay. There was a lot. No, he peeled back the, the sticks. There's violence there. That's the Christ. And to the white meat. So take or leave it. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. 31. No, 30. 38. And the flock can see, and he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters and the watering troughs when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. Okay. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring-straked. And all the brown in the flock of Laban, and he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and men servants, and camels, and asses. Preach. I like that last part. No, it's good. But yeah. So that's it for the chapter, man. But wow. This must be one of the most, between this chapter and the next chapter, it's quite a drama unfolding. For one, Laban, let's do a recap on this. So Laban, he gets sent from Abraham, because him and his brother were beefing. Because he had, by the design of his mother, he had cleverly obtained the birthright. Okay, the blessing. That almost looked like a Satan picture. Satan slid somewhere, got some power. He got some power somewhere. And I'm just saying what it's looking to me right now. Looking like a Satan picture. Satan had an edge somewhere, and he got some power, and he ran with it. Okay. Just saying. One of the images I'm getting from that. But no, what happened was, and Isaac's mother said, hey, go to another land, back to my uncle. Go to my brother's family. It's basically his uncle's family. Laban is his uncle. To get a daughter, a wife. And he goes. On the way there, he has a vision and a fearful thing where he makes a stone pillow, and he says, surely the Lord is, he says, surely we are in the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. And he's preaching. I like that. That's really what's going on here. This can be the gate to hell or the gate to heaven, whatever y'all want. Okay? Have it your way. BK. Alright? This is a gate. You're living in a gate, y'all. Everything's a gate. Okay? Now, so yeah, that happened. He went. He met Leah, but we want to know why he went. He went because, for one, his brother was trying to kill him. Planning to kill him. Pure hatred over the bowl of soup and stuff, you know. And all that. So, and you know, that's the way the devil is too. So, that's the way the devil is too. The devil hates you. Because like the devil too, devil was deceived also, was threw away the bowl of soup. The devil was deceived with the Christ thing, if I'm not mistaken. The devil didn't know that was going to save the world, if I'm not mistaken. The devil didn't know that about the cross. The devil got deceived on the cross, if I'm not mistaken. The devil was duped like Esau was beat cleverly. You know, he was beat cleverly out. So there's a lot of pictures going on right there. The devil got ripped off with the whole cross thing, y'all. The devil got ripped off. And that's what you have to do. You know, to people like that. I'm not saying, but that's the only way you can beat somebody like that, because they're not going to play fair. They're not going to play fair. Okay. Sometimes you got to go down to that level to get any action on that type of arena. So the devil wasn't going to do anything right. So he had to be ripped off. Sometimes you got to rob the robber. Just saying. You're not going to beat somebody who's on that type of stuff unless you get on their level. In one of my videos, I said that nowadays violence is king. You're not really going to get no action out of nobody or any results until you slap them across the face or stick a knife in their side. Other than that, you're not going to get any movement. So that's just an illustration of the devil had to be basically lied to and tricked to get some action, because he wasn't just going to do right. So that's what, to me, that's an image of Esau and Jacob to me on that scenario. Now we're just recapping 30 and 29, y'all. I want to make sure I get a thorough recap of what happened in 29. Okay. Jacob was deceived. Well, that's actually 28. Okay. Or 27. Okay. Until arise, go to your brother Laban until his brother's fury turns away. Jacob sent to Laban in 28. But yeah, that's a picture for me. So we're getting, once again, the whole Bible story in a chapter again. That's what happens all throughout. These are the cosmic spiritual principles that matter in the world. This is what matters. This is why we're here. This is why things are the way they are, because of these spiritual principles: rebellion, not obedience, taking cover where you can, knowing when you're beat, knowing the consequences of our actions. This is what's going on in all these chapters. Basic cosmic, knowing that I said yesterday that I know my place in the world. I'm just a man in the hands of an angry God. That's all I am. I forgot what context I was using that, but yeah. So, Esau marries an Ishmaelite. So yeah, Esau married one of those women that were native, and yeah. And that he blessed him and directed him. Now Jacob obeyed his father, and his mother had gone to Padan Aram. So when Esau saw that the Canaanite women did not please Isaac his father, So basically, Esau is in a state of rebellion at this point. He's kind of upset at his father, so he takes a wife of the women that were not pleasing to him. And yeah, that's basically what we're doing when we're living in sin. We're just saying, oh, I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And then, of course, we give birth to our consequences by doing that. Okay? Jacob's dream. Jacob left Beersheba. He went toward Haran, and he came to a certain place. Okay? Alright, and he dreamed and laid. There was a ladder. Okay? And behold, the Lord stood above it. I am the Lord God, blah, blah, blah. Oh, sorry. I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you as your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the earth. So why is this blessing happening? Because he's on the right path. He's doing the right thing. He's obeying. Okay. Well, it was foreshadowed. It's not. This is God's plan. This is what's going to happen. You're on a larger mission than this. This is not about you, and it's not about us either. That's part of our enlightenment, guys, is that we're realizing that our outcome, we're not concerned about our lives for our own outcome. This is the grand, larger mission. There is a larger scale mission, a cosmic spiritual thing of infinite scale that's unfolding, and we have a role to play. So it's not about, oh, we go to heaven, oh, we go to hell. No, we're on a mission. We're playing a role and a mission. And yeah, that's what's going on in our lives, man. So that's what he's telling Isaac. And he's blown away. He's telling Isaac, hey, I'm going to make your seed. It's not about you. I'm going to bless you and all your offspring. And, yeah. So, okay, all the families there. So he's basically talking about the Christ right there. So, I don't want to slide back too far, but yeah, okay. Surely the Lord is in this place. I did not know it, and I did not know it. That's the world. Okay. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning and he set up a pillar of rocks. He set it up for a pillar and poured oil on top of it and called the name of that place Bethel. We're in 28:18. I'm recapping up to where I'm at, so we don't miss any of the details of Leah and Rachel. That's not what we do here. We get the details. We're knowing where we're at in context of the whole story. Okay. So Jacob says he's going to give God 1/10 of everything. And he said that if God keeps and will supply all his needs then he is going to give God a tenth. And guess what? God was with him. So he basically said to God, if you take care of me, I'm going to give you a tenth of everything. Okay. Now we go to, and that's good. You know, he says God. He says in prayer, he makes a declaration that, hey, if God takes care of me, I know God's real now, but if you're taking care of me, I'm going to give you a tenth of everything. That's what he says. Okay, now in verse 29, Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. Now here's where we get to the hairy points. I'm going to stop using that word. I don't like it. We get to the juicy points. Then Jacob went on his journey and came, excuse me, bear with me as I skim through this. I just want to get the details. But we've already read it. Alright, now, okay, he pulls up, the stone is rolled away. There's another Christ picture. He rolls the stone away. And guys, to me this is an image of you belong in this righteous path. You are at home in your path when you do this. When you follow the Christ, you're at home. You're following the right path. You should feel at home. This is predestined. This was set up for you to be like that. If you're seeing this video, you're not just seeing this video. You're not just seeing this video. You're not just seeing this video. This is a real thing happening. Wake up and smell the folders, man. Okay, this was God's plan for him to come. It's not just, oh, I got here. No, God set this up. Just like he sets everything up. If it's about God and it's about his orders, this is exact where you're supposed to be. Period. How do you know that? Because we're acknowledging that. That's how you know you're being told the truth. When it's about you're being told the truth. That's how you know. Let a sign be a sign. Let deja vu be deja vu. Let stuff be, man. That's where you're supposed to be. It's not just he's having sense, he's following the path. Yeah, you have choices, but guys, you got to know when you're on the path that was meant for you. You got to know that. Okay? So, Jacob said to them, my brothers, where do you come from? I hope that made sense. But yeah. Jacob said to them, my brothers, where do you come from? They said, okay, we know him. He said, it is well with him. They said, it is well, and see, Rachel, his daughter, is coming. So this is a picture of judgment, Israel and the Gentiles. This is a picture of judgment, savior, salvation, preaching, watering. This is a picture of basically everything relevant to us. Okay, it's multiple meanings, but yeah, you can draw parallels all through this chapter. Okay, so when I think of Israel, Rachel and Leah, I think of Israel and Gentiles. That's what I think about, because one was jealous, one hated. He closed up the womb of one. That's looking like a Gentile, because the Jews didn't really recognize Jesus for the Son of God, and because of that, blah blah blah. I'm not saying that's what it's saying, but that's what it looks like right here, because everything isn't about everything is a Christ picture, but different aspects. Sometimes the Jew, like I said before, a lot of times these images are Israel and the Gentiles. And the Christ, God being the husband, Jacob, he's coming back to either one. Boom, 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 boom. He's coming back and forth. Blessings here, blessings stop for a minute over here. Boom, 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 boom over here. So yeah, it's a drama. It's a soap opera. between, you know, the attention from the Jews and because, you know, he loved the Gentiles, you know, but he wanted Rachel. He ended up going somewhere else. This is a if I'm not mistaken, this is a classic Gentile Jew picture. Okay, because look, that's what I'm getting out of this. So, but it could mean multiple things. It could be you and your addiction coming back. You know, God is jostling for whatever your lifestyle. God wants your whole attention. But this is pretty sure this is a Gentile Jew prophecy. Okay, pretty dead on with my stuff, y'all. Pretty dead on. Pretty dead on. Okay, so. Behold, it is still high day. It is not time for the livestock to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go pasture them. Well, but they say we cannot until all the flocks are gathered together and the stone is rolled from the mouth of the well. And then while he was still speaking with them. Yeah, this is a definite. I'm saying. You know, they talked about the Messiah, and they're saying the stone is rolled away. You know, then it'll be time. In other words, it wasn't fulfilled yet. So, but when Jesus came, it was fulfilled, and that wasn't so readily acknowledged, you know. So while he was still preaching with them, Rachel came. You know, they were expecting something great, you know, something different than the way he came. They weren't expecting him to be just some guy from their hometown, a carpenter. You know, oh, that's Jesus. That's not the Son of God. That's the Messiah. That's, you know, that's Joseph's son. That's not the Messiah. No. So, you know, there's a lot going on right there. So, when we get righteous, we're covering up with his skin, with his image, like Jacob covered up with the Esau, like Jacob covered up like Esau. So we're basically hiding in, it gets deep, man, but there's a lot of meanings. But yeah, there's a lot of imagery right here. We're doing like Esau. Okay, so while he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with his father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. Preach. Okay. Okay, now as soon as Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban's mother, so Jacob kisses Rachel. Okay. And okay. Yep, they ran to meet him. This looks like the resurrection picture. Oh, the Lord is here. The Lord is here. He's the Messiah. Oh, he's risen. He's risen. Look. Oh. As Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. This looks like a Lord picture. It looks like a Lord. And Jacob told Laban all these things, and Laban said, surely you are this bone of my flesh. And he stayed with him a month. Yep. Because you are my kinsman, you should therefore serve me for nothing. Tell me the wages. And, okay. I'm way back here. That's okay. And Leah's eyes were weak. Beautiful in form and appearance. I knew I was right. Okay. Okay, and Laban said it's better. Okay, so he said, give me my wife. Laban gathered together all the people of the place and all the people of the place. So, guys, what I'm getting out of this also is that we are literally having a new creation. It's not about us. It's about what we're becoming on a cosmic spiritual level. It's not about your life and what's coming to you. It's about what you're going to become in the new creation. You know, and even that's not about you. It's about some grand picture that we don't know yet. It's not about you. You're a vital piece. I don't want to say vital. You are a piece of the design. Now, just like an engine in a car, every part matters. You know, every part matters. So, if you're not any good, you're not going to be a part of this car performing, and you're useless. Okay, you're hindering the process. So they'll be dealt with accordingly, melted down to form another part, whatever it is. But you're not going to be wasted. You're going to be melted down and form another part that may be useful again. But But you guys have to be following. It's not about you. It's about the greater picture, fulfilling what you're supposed to fulfill, to become what we're supposed to become. Okay, so. I feel like I'm all over the place, but guys, we have to recap. Okay. All right. So Laban, they made a feast. He sent Leah into him at night. He thought he was getting Rachel. And in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And Jacob said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? Did I not serve with you for Rachel?" Yeah, this looks like another Christ Satan picture. Complete the week of this one, and we will give you. Okay, so boom. Jacob did so and completed her week, and Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife, and Laban his female servant Bilhah. Jacob went into Rachel also, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. This looks like the Christ Gentile picture. Gentile Jew picture. Okay, he loved the Jews first. He loves the Christians. I don't want to say on record who he loves more. He loves everybody. But, yeah. He was supposed to get Rachel, which was the Jews. And I'm not going to read too much into that, because that's where people get critical. All I'm saying is that this is proof that God is real. This is a prophecy of the Jews and Gentiles. Okay? It's not about who's primary, who's not, because it comes and goes. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. You are not the Father. You are the Father. All right. So Jacob went into Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and served Laban for 7 years. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. This is an interactive thing. God is real. Everything's foreshadowed. But guess what? You have control too. You are a piece of divine spark. Much like God, you have control also. You're in the image of God. Okay, guys? So, guys, yeah, you can come and go. That's the mystery of godliness and the mystery of God. You can come and go from the Lamb's Book of Life. You can come and go. You are not once saved, always saved. Period. Okay, so All right, so yeah, he gets the Rachel. The eyes were weak. That definitely looks like a Jew picture. Okay. So basically, yeah, that's the mystery part of God that people don't get, and I didn't get till recently. That yeah, the Jews became self-righteous, and they weren't really a picture of they were following the law, but they weren't internally clean. So, I mean, not all of them, but for the most part, that's what God didn't like. So, I came to do a recap, y'all, but there's a lot to learn about the mysteries and all this. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, guys, the decisions you make have an impact. You're writing the book. This book was written based on the people's character and their decisions. So you're basically writing history with our lives, guys, and that's what happened. You can come. This is a living word. You can be in the Lamb's Book of Life or not, based on what you're doing. So the mystery is, what I'm trying to say is that it's really hard to say, man, but I know what I'm trying to say is that, guys, when you make these decisions, yeah, God knows. He's all-knowing, but it's also living, interactive. It's also happening with your decisions. So God knows what you're going to do, but you still have freedom. That's the mystery of God. God knows what you're going to do. He knows who's going to get there. But you still have the power in your own choices not to get there. You are a piece of God. You're interactive. You are a piece of God. God is in everything. God, you can either get in line. So guys, you have the power of God in you to fulfill your prophecy or not. It's not going to hurt God either way. God, everything's going back to God in the end. Okay. If there is an end. I'm just saying. There is no escaping this. But guys, that's one of the mysteries is that, yeah. And I'm supposed to be recapping, but I think I'm getting some ground here for what I'm trying to tell you guys, because it's all right here. And it's in the stories. It's in the way God is prophesying about Jew and Israel and the prior stuff. And these stories is prophesying later stuff to happen down the line. Hundreds of years later, we're prophesying about Jews and the Gentiles and the Lord. That's what's going on here in these stories. Leah, Rachel, closing up the womb. He loved her. He hated her. All of this stuff is happening. Is an image of the Christ picture. So guys, your actions matter. Your actions matter. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm a truth teller. I'm a truth teller. Guys, I don't care what you want to call it, prophesying, whatever. I'm telling you the truth. That the way in the world is not acknowledging this, what I'm trying to tell you. And I don't even think I'm getting my point across right. But if you have ears to hear, listen. If you have eyes to perceive, then perceive it. Okay? Let's get in line, y'all. This is crazy. Because when I tell you, man, you're either one of these cattle for the slaughter. Going about your business, you're not doing nothing. You're not being unnoticed. God is seeing that you are a log on the fire. Get out of the way, y'all. Okay, it's whatever, man. I'm just letting you know this is my duty to tell y'all how real this is. Here we are, hundreds of years, if not thousands, if not 1,000 years before the Christ. In the Gentiles and the Christian picture, Jew and Gentile picture. Hasn't happened yet. But that's what this is illustrating. This is prophecy. This is prophecy. This is prophecy. So we have stuff expanding. It's turning from a personal level with a man and a wife and 2 wives, turning into worldwide scale stuff. Okay? That's what's happening here. Everything matters, man. Look at the scale it blew up to. It went from a man and 2 wives turning into a nation worldwide picture. That's what's going on here. So that's showing the degree of what you're doing matters, because it's going to only multiply in degree, whatever you're doing. So you want to be on the right end of this, because it's going to multiply. Now, guys, I'm going to let y'all go, but I think I went to recap, but I ended up just giving you a more meaning than I would have given you just by recapping that what this is all about. And I hope, and I'm not upset about the meaning that I was trying to give you, because it's not really out there, the stuff I'm trying to tell y'all. The stuff that I'm telling y'all is not really out there. It's going to motivate you, make things more clear about how the world is and how the Bible can illustrate and all that stuff. It's not really out there. So I'm hoping this will find a seed somewhere. This will plant a seed somewhere, because it's good stuff, man. And it's not just good stuff. This is something we need to get in line for. So, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. We're on YouTube at Preach Facts. 2 words, Preach Facts. And you can reach out at the Gmail at preachfacts7@gmail.com. All right, see you tomorrow.